Welcome, listeners, to Through the Sightglass, a podcast that dives deep into the fascinating world of craft beer and celebrates the incredible individuals who shape its vibrant landscape. Join us on a journey where we explore the nuances of this amazing industry and the remarkable people who contribute to its richness and diversity. And today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Nothing's Left Brewing. Thanks for having us. We appreciate it, friends.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
So we'd like you to just introduce yourselves and your roles here at the brewery. What do you all do?
My name is Travis Richards. I'm the head brewer and co-owner of Nothing's Left.
I'm Lacy Richards. I'm Travis's wife, and then my sister and I, Abby, do everything else.
Yeah. I'm Abby, and yes, I'm the little sister that does everything with my sister, event planning and making the slushies and shirts and all types of fun stuff.
Venue coordination, HR, payroll, QuickBooks.
Taxes.
Nice. Yeah, family run. Everybody wears multiple hats.
Yeah.
Nobody gets away. Where do you guys call hometown? Where did you guys grow up?
We all grew up in Tulsa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I grew up in Broken Arrow. I graduated from Broken Arrow High School.
Oh, nice.
Basically BA my whole life.
Yeah, we did too. Abby and I graduated from Jinx.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So this whole area.
So family life, obviously y'all are sisters. Did y'all have other siblings? What did y'all parents do?
And
y'all
if you
growing
do,
up?
why aren't they in the brewery working as well?
We have a little brother named Jake. He's his own spirit. He is in plumbing right now. And our parents are entrepreneurs. Our mom's a home builder, luxury home builder. So she also is a very pioneering force. My dad is an incredible businessman and money guy. And they actually have very much championed us being doing what we want as long as cash flow, the thing is rocking, everything's going, that, the power is yours. You can do what you want. Just got to make sure you pay your bills.
Yeah, totally.
That's an awesome inspiration.
Yeah, for sure.
I also have a little brother who's literally like only 2 inches shorter than me. So he's like air quotes my little brother. Yeah, that's about it. He's an electrician. He does EV stuff.
Nice. Very cool.
What was it like growing up in Oklahoma?
Hot.
It was fun. It was, very outdoorsy, and I don't know.
It's kind of hard to sum up. There's just so
Yeah.
Yeah.
much to it,
I think for all of us, beer was never involved. We did not
Yeah.
have parents who were interested in beer or alcohol in any capacity. Abby and I come from a pretty conservative Christian home, and so alcohol was not even a topic.
Yeah.
Travis's parents were not drinkers by any
never drank.
stretch. I think they all were probably pretty surprised when we were like, we think we're going to do a brewery. That was not on the bingo card for sure.
We're actually not even really huge drinkers ourselves, but we just love the craft of it too as well.
Nice.
For sure.
My parents definitely never thought that I would choose beer as an occupation for sure.
Gotcha.
I went through the whole Boy Scout program and everything, so anti-drinking and all that stuff
Yeah.
too. So it was a pretty big surprise when I was like, I think this is what I want to do with my life.
Gotcha.
Make beer.
Nice. I understand that. I grew up Mormon, so
Oh, yeah?
when I started working at breweries, I don't think my dad saw me for the first 2 years until he finally came in. He's like, "Oh, this is actually kind of like a cool process." And I was like, "Yeah, it's not just a
Yeah.
bunch of drunkards."
Yeah,
no.
exactly. It's the process.
And Oklahoma really thinks that we're very buckle of the Bible Belt. So there's a perception that alcohol equals drunk all the time. And I
Yeah.
think it's just until the past 10 years it's become kind of different. That it's a cultural experience and not just a means to get wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So growing up in Tulsa, was it always this vibrant in the city, or did you guys watch it grow into something this vibrant and this eclectic and accepting?
Very, very, just in the past, maybe probably 10, 15 years, our downtown started revitalizing, and then it just kind of started a wave of investors and renovations and all kinds of stuff. And downtown now is night and day compared to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember whenever I was a kid, you didn't really go downtown. The only reason why you went there was because you worked there.
Right.
And now it's an actual destination. People go down, bars, restaurants, craziness.
Well, it's cool because they're trying to modernize it and build onto it, but they're also trying to keep some of the older things, almost vintage, if you will. But so we want to leave these older buildings alone and bring them back to life if we can, just like how we were at Texaco at the very beginning, and you wouldn't even know that if you looked at it now. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think that is cool that you can keep the heart of the city and the history and the buildings, and then be able to renovate that from there. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What kind of jobs did y'all have post high school, college? Did y'all go to college? What did that look like?
I tried college, and it just didn't work out for me. It was too like regimented, and I have attention deficit disorder like crazy. So sitting in a classroom trying to figure out why letters and numbers need to be added together was like not my forte. So
I feel you on that.
I just
Yeah.
I always tell everyone that every job that I've ever worked has always been leading towards basically running a brewery. I've worked for grocery stores, doing cashiers and stocking shelves and merchandising, and running produce. Like produce was kind of the first time that I ever was like, oh yeah, there's like different stuff out there, right? So that definitely I feel like kind of like gave me like a little bit of an arsenal of knowledge about things that other people didn't even care about. And then I worked for Quick Trip and like went into management. Quick Trip's like a really big convenience store chain down here. So like that was super fast paced and everybody's like, on their game all the time. So learned a ton of stuff there. And I just basically bounced around to everything to just do this. Everything taught me what I needed to know to run this business.
Nice, very cool.
I didn't know it at the time. I really hated all my jobs.
Yeah. Travis actually worked for a Babies R Us for a little bit.
Yeah, I managed one for like 3 years.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
There you
he's done
go.
it all for sure. I actually am a therapist by trade, and so my master's degree is in counseling. But I think I like looking at different small businesses and knowing that they are cross-taught. Like, I don't think being like one thing and then doing that for the rest of your life is always, it's like a very, I don't know, it's just a straight way. It's not like a multifaceted thinking approach. And so, and that's kind of how it is with all our bartenders. Like they come from every kind of background ever
wonderful.
possible. Like our lead brewer, essentially, he is a former crane operator. Kyle worked at the city for a long time. Like, we just have a really incredible, varied group. I worked at Cancer Treatment Center as a therapist for a while. And then Abby and I actually opened a clothing store for 5 years. And then we shut it down when the brewery opened, basically. So.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep. We actually opened it when I was like 19, so I never even really had a real job. My parents just trust us enough, which is wild, but they saw kind of my love for fashion, and Lacy's got the smarts and the maturity, and so together we kind of came in as a team, and we had the store, and then we decided that I never really thought that craft beer would be my dream, because I'm actually not a drinker at all, but my dream really is to just work with my family, so I'm pretty much just going to follow them wherever they go, no matter where it leads us. I'm here now in the craft beer community. We've been a business for a long time, almost 10 years, and been here for almost 6 years, and it's been the best 6 years ever. We're super close, and people always think it's so weird that I work with my sister and my brother every single day, but we wouldn't want it any other way. It's been awesome.
We still spend every bit of free time together. I don't know if it's healthy or not.
We
but
leave
you know what
work and we're like, hey, do you want to come over? And it's wild.
That's the way. We're married and we're doing this business together, and then we live in a van that's 60 square feet, so we're
totally
literally always together. But it's great because best friends, you can be business partners, hang out. It's just great. So we understand. We love it.
1,000%.
So how did y'all meet?
You tell them.
Oh, yeah.
Basically online. Like when online dating was pretty early on. I refused to pay for it because I just didn't think that was right. So I was on a free dating site and I ran across her profile. It was one of the only three that I actually sent a message to, but I had a complete joke profile on there. Literally everything about me was just a joke. So I never expected anything out of it. And then we started chatting, and then we decided that we were going to meet up. And then a mutual friend of ours knew Lacy and was like, "Oh yeah, no, I know this, this big, tall, redheaded guy, Travis. No, you guys will be great." So
Nice.
that we just basically from there on, first date on.
Yeah. Spend every day together after that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And he just has to deal with me. I'm just a little sister that is with him every day, and I don't torture him too bad. It's he'll be all right.
Well, that's good. You vetted him before to make sure it's okay.
Yeah,
you can hang with us.
For sure.
Man.
Good.
The hazing that took place.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, so you guys have such an entrepreneurial inspiration from your parents. Where did that stem from them? Were their parents? Did they do the same thing, or?
Well, my mom had a very creative. She came from like a farm town, Cushing, Oklahoma, Drumright to be exact, and it was very small. Like my grandpa did everything. He was a handyman. Like if you could think it, he could make it. And then my grandma, his wife, was also very like pragmatic. She was a doer. She got the stuff done, and she had 4 kids, and they're all boys. And then she had this girl, and so she really followed in their footsteps of like, if you think about it hard enough and you plan enough, you can execute anything you want. Mm-hmm. And they were huge supporters of her, especially in building. To be a builder and like in a man's world, kind of. I mean, she has really like set the pace for a lot of big builders in Tulsa, and she still stays small. She stays very small. She only does what she can. She does not want to like outsource or do anything like. She doesn't even want to hire an assistant, to be really honest, because she wants to touch every part of it, and because that's what her customers expect. And so she and my dad have been very like. My dad came from a pretty poor house in Tulsa, and just one working parent, and was very much like, it's the same. If you want it, you got to go get it. We can't provide
very
that for
hard
you.
Workers, very, very smart.
Yeah, insane hard workers.
Our mom actually didn't even go to college. And so for her to be in the area that she is now is like, we're really proud of her. She's a boss, and so is my dad. I mean, they're both very hard workers, very smart people, and just like the fact that they've trusted us with this is insane. And I know that they're so proud of us.
Yeah, and they still come down and support us in like the tiniest small ways. Like last weekend, they came and like weed-eated everything. They just come and they like
they'll clean the rugs and clean the couches.
And like,
that's so awesome.
Hey, do you want to come and come bring you this today?
Yeah.
Like it's very, even the small stuff they still do. It's not like, hey, it's in your hands. You got to get it done.
Yeah, not a lot of people have that. From their
that's
parents.
Huge
that is really awesome. The support from your parents is very crucial.
Yeah.
So very cool. Okay, so jumping into craft beer, do y'all remember your first craft beer experience, or maybe something that like jumped y'all into owning a tap room one day?
I mean, this might be my territory, just because, the beer and stuff, but my first craft beer experience really wasn't until I was like 19, so, I didn't do anything illegal.
Yeah.
But,
it's okay. Many brewers have admitted that they drank
I
before they
thought you were
rolled
going to say
up.
like 14 or something.
No, but I would I had like 3 people that would like be my beer guy, right? And 2 of them would just go in and buy like the cheapest thing they could get and then pocket the rest, classic, beer guy stuff. And then I had another friend who would go in and like, take whatever I give him and be like, okay, here's the stuff you asked for, but here's something that you might like. And it was the first one was Dead Guy Ale from Rogue.
Yeah.
And I hated it. I was like, what the hell is this? Because, I was like 19 or 20.
Yeah, it's bitter. It
Is
just
that
fills
98?
you
I
up.
can't remember.
Dead Guy Ale, it's essentially just like a strong ale.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it is just
Very strong.
brutal.
Wow.
That was actually my first craft beer as well.
Oh,
at a
rock and
party.
roll.
Wow.
Someone was like, "If you give me $1, I'll get you a beer, Alan." And I was like, "Sure." And he gave me a Dead Guy Ale, and I remember thinking like, I feel like I'm drinking Thanksgiving dinner. And it was
Oh,
just
God.
like filling. It
For
was
sure.
bitter. It was a lot.
Oh.
So yeah.
And then, just a couple of more years of just random beers and stuff. And then I got really bored of just like, Pig's Eye and Bud Light and stuff like that. And started basically going in and like trying my way through all the like the Sam Adams that were dropping.
Oh yeah.
In Tulsa, and kind of being a little disappointed. Like cherry wheat, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna taste like crazy cherry, and then I got in as like not really that
Yeah.
cherry. So then that kind of like segued into me like, well, if maybe I can make a beer that's a cherry wheat that tastes like cherry, and eventually that led to our number one flagship, Strawberry Blonde.
Oh,
Basically
nice.
a fruit beer that actually tasted like fruit, and not just like a whisper of it,
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
kind of my segue, was just trying all through every one of those Samuel Adams, see what I liked.
So did you start homebrewing?
Yeah. Started homebrewing probably technically about before I was 21.
Gotcha.
Because it's not illegal to buy the stuff that makes beer.
Yeah.
Or a bucket.
No, exactly.
I picked it up, and it was like the first batch was good. It was like an extract kit that I bought here locally at High Gravity, and it was good. And then I was like, all right, well, I did so good on that one, I'm gonna like make my own recipe, and it was terrible. And then like 2 or 3 batches, I was trying to figure it out, and they were all just not great. So I gave it up for like 2 years, And then one day I was just, like craft beer was always just kind of like a slow, like monster building in the background.
Yeah.
And I was still drinking craft beers and still liked it, and just decided one day I was like, I'm gonna get my kid out again and like try and have a go at it again. And got a couple of buddies together and we started brewing at home, and like I think it clicked one day. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. Like,
Oh, nice.
This is what I want to do. I like, even though it's 100 degrees outside, standing over a pot of boiling wort in my garage with like no AC. I was like, I still like this, and I couldn't say that about literally anything else I'd ever done in my life.
That's an awesome realization.
Yep. So after that, just like I came up with a name, came up with like 500 names,
Nice.
but they were all taken.
For like breweries or beer names?
For a brewery.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And started, basically going on and checking the trademarks and stuff, and like everything I came up with was taken already. So I was like, I don't think there's nothing left to name my brewery.
Oh, there you go. That's so awesome.
And it still didn't click that that was what I was going to go with. But like 2 or 3 days later, I was like, oh yeah, no, that's what we're naming it. We're going to be Nothing's Left.
That's awesome.
And never stopped. Haven't even looked back.
And our slogan is everything is right when nothing's left. Like we know that we did our job when you drank your whole glass of beer.
That's very cool.
So our logo is like an upside down can. So
Yeah.
it really worked out in our favor.
Yeah.
It was really dumb in the beginning.
No,
Yeah.
Until we started building some, some
I still
lore
think,
around it
yeah,
and stuff.
people are like, what does that even mean? They love hearing the story
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
the name, for sure.
We've heard, like, people were coming up with like rumors about how we came up with our name, like we were this really big rich family, and like we just, our last like ditch effort was to go start a brewery.
Oh, that's
By the way,
awesome.
never make a brewery your last ditch effort.
Yeah.
It's not a money generator like you do.
Yeah, people like, you want to make $1 million in a brewery, put $2 million into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Yep. Gotta love it.
So y'all's craft beer experience. You said you don't really drink. Were y'all together when y'all were homebrewing, and were you
Yeah.
trying the homebrew? And
Yeah, so he started homebrewing with me like in 2010, moved into a house, basically became a brewer. The garage was a brewery. That's all there was to it.
Bathtub brews.
Yeah, I mean, we put a lot of like fermenting beer in the bathtub, had
Oh,
some
yeah.
explosions. The beer that exploded was never like a light color beer. It was always like a blueberry something.
Staining.
Yeah.
You got to
Learning lessons early on,
Yeah, exactly.
about re-fermentation.
Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't a beer person solely because what was available was like very malty, it was very dark, or it was very hoppy, like it was very extreme traditional styles, and I was just like, that's not for me, that's not for me, that's not for me. And then Trav brought home a Lindemans Framboise.
Oh, yeah.
And so he was like, I actually think you'll like this. And I probably was like, no, there's no way. And I tried it, and he was like, it's raspberry soda, essentially. And since then, that was like, okay, I can like beer. I'm a beer drinker now. I like Lindemans. And I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how it was fermented. I didn't know anything about it other than I can drink beer. And so after that, it really empowered me, like, okay, if I can try that, then I can try other stuff too. And then that set me forth. I mean, I'm still not like, if you go to a bar with me, I'm probably going to get a cocktail, but I still love the palate of beer. I love what it brings for people in the community. I think that's probably the bigger part of it.
So you've been homebrewing. You have a name. When did the process start to actually bring your sister on, bring the family to find a place? Did y'all start? Was this the original spot, or did y'all have something smaller? Talk us through that story.
So I basically had just started going to local events and pouring my beers for people. Was getting pretty good response, and I think some of the other brewers were kind of noticing it too. But at the time, there was nobody really small at that point. Most of the people had gotten in and were pretty large production breweries and stuff. And so I just kind of basically started asking around, I don't have the capital to get started, on this scale.
Yeah.
So just kind of started poking around and asking people about contract brewing and stuff, and basically, as we pretty much all know, contract brewing, even in especially small batches, is very not profitable. So
Yeah.
we spent about a year and a half essentially kind of shadowing another big brewery here in Oklahoma.
Oh, nice.
Just learning the ropes a little bit here and there. I wasn't there working full time. I was basically still working a full-time job here in Tulsa and then commuting to Oklahoma City on the weekends to check on my beer, take stock counts, and then go visit accounts. I was basically 2 full-time jobs. You
Wow.
know, trying to sell the beer that I'd already paid to make, and so that went on for about a year and a half until we finally kind of like had a conversation together. Like we see the results of what happens when we go to festivals, when we pour our beer to people. It's excellent responses, and like people are all the time. We're always asking, so when you opening? We're like, well, we don't know.
Yeah.
Sometime, I guess.
Yeah, taking that leap is super scary.
Yeah, for sure.
We called ourselves a glorified T-shirt company for
Oh,
a
yeah.
long time because we would just go to
More money on
festivals.
t-shirts.
Yeah, just go to
For sure.
festivals and sell T-shirts just to put it back towards the grain.
Gotcha, for the
Yeah.
ingredients.
Yeah.
And so festivals after festivals, and then finally had the big talk and was like, you know, is this feasible? So then we started the whole process of writing the business plan out and everything, which still wasn't great. The business plan at the time was kind of like, oh, this is not looking too good.
The banks are like, no.
Yeah, so the banks are pretty much like, no, especially then. They were like, yeah, no, sorry. So we basically had to fund it ourselves. And just a dream, really. Like, honestly, really was just a dream. The day we opened our doors, I literally was like, it was 2:00, and I was expecting maybe 1 or 2 customers. And I remember taking a selfie at the bar because nobody had showed up for 45 minutes. And I was like, well, I just screwed up bad.
Oh, man.
And boy, was I completely wrong, because literally like an hour later till like 11 o'clock that night, just slammed busy. Every person I knew was down here
That's
in
awesome.
our tap room trying to, you know, get tabs and pour beers and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, we had no idea what was going to happen. And thank goodness Tulsa has really adopted us.
Yeah.
We could have, you know, opened up and just kind of quietly shuttered a couple of
Yeah.
years later, but, you know,
Do you
people
feel like
keep
that's
showing up.
Do you feel like that's a trait in the Tulsa community? Is like the love and support for supporting something small and watching it grow? Do you feel like that's very integrated here?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
Tulsa is incredibly supportive of small businesses. I think it's, I've even seen like with our own customers, like a new brewery will open and they'll be like, hey, Lacy, I just went on to so-and-so and just went to their grand opening. And they feel really, it's nice because they feel really free to talk to us about it. Like, not like it's a competitor, but like, hey, like you're a part of the community. Here's how it went. And they, you know, our customers are incredible. They literally will be like, it was okay. They have some kinks to work out, but I'm going to go back next weekend and I'm going to try everything again.
Oh, awesome.
And they're so supportive, and like they give businesses a lot of trust, and they give a lot of like support, and they are very forgiving. They have a lot of grace. And then, you know, we have a big, what we call sour solstice in the summer. So on 21st of June every year, we do 8 new sour beers. And then in the wintertime, we do a stout solstice, and we do 8 new stout beers. People be like, I don't even like sours, but I'm just coming tonight because it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
that's
know?
awesome.
They're just so great. I mean, that's Tulsa. That's awesome.
Good.
So Abby, did you know that you were going, like, once it opened, were you already on the team? Like, did y'all already start working together, or what did that transition?
There was kind of a weird transition period because I was in the middle of kind of like closing the store.
You're pregnant.
Lacey had already kind of moved on from the store. She had gone to CTCA, and so I was at the store, and I wasn't really having fun anymore because I didn't have my sister, and I just was kind of losing interest, and so it was like closing the store, and yes, I was pregnant, and then also working behind the bar, and then I was really happy when we finally made the transition of like the store was done and I was here full time. So for the first year or two I had my son, I kind of stayed home a little bit and I would do some shifts here and there. And then now that he's kind of old enough to be, you know, in like daycare and stuff, I'm here every day now, and that's just been the best thing. It's just so, I don't know, it's so crazy. We've been open for almost 6 years, and it's just like thinking of that is just like, it's just the most wild thing that we're still here.
Yeah. Like time flies by.
Yeah. It's like a blink and like like a decade at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Abby used to run Fridays and Saturdays, like
Yeah.
basically like the head bartender for the first nine,
Yeah.
10
I worked
months?
trivia a lot. That was the
trivia
thing.
too,
I
yeah.
was trivia on Thursday and then working like Friday nights with Kyle. That was the good old days. You know,
Yeah.
that was when the tap room was tiny, and
You could see every customer
could see
from one
every
place in the
customer.
bar.
I could walk out of my
And-
little tiny brew
Yeah.
room and like, you know, be like, okay, thank God, there's customers out
Yeah.
there.
See a
Yeah.
tap room
You
full
know,
of people.
He
Yeah.
his brew house was like literally like this big.
it was tiny. It
He
was
could look
super
inside
tiny.
the kettle from just standing.
Well, actually, his brew house right now is our office now.
Yeah.
And our office is tiny.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know how we ever even had equipment in there. But
Right.
within like the first year, we actually had to start knocking down some walls to make more seating space. And then about 4 years after that was when 3.5 or so was when we decided we need to expand. So we were first looking at Broken Arrow to see if we could have a second location, and that ended up not working out, which is totally fine. And this area above us was open, and so we took this area right here. We just opened this last May, and it's been such a blessing to be able to have events up here and all types of stuff. We can have trivia up here now, and just going from this teeny little tap room to like this huge, and we have a warehouse, and it's even more expanded than from what you guys can see. And we have an entire brew house, and like we've had to knock down and put up. And I think at the end of the day, there's two things about it. Is one, Travis makes a great product that brings people back, but two, our customers are like literally the only reason why we're even here. Our customers, we've seen the same faces for 6 years. I mean, like we've had regulars, and saying the word regulars is sometimes even weird to me because they're our friends now. I mean, some of my best friends have come from this place, and we have two people that have worked here the entire 6 years, Molly and Kyle. They're the OGs. And it's just like such a blessing to be able to, you see people walk in here. We have people that come in here once a week, twice a week.
Nice.
We have people that come in here and just study, or they don't drink. They'll come get something non-alcoholic, and that's a whole different topic too. Is the non-alcoholic thing. We, we're also very inclusive as much as we can be, and so that's a whole other thing.
A whole podcast about
NAs.
Oh yeah. And we'll get to that. I think it's so cool to see that, like, for how y'all were raised and grew up and really loved and enjoyed how the community felt to you, you guys reciprocated that in your business. Was that something you guys thought of initially when it's like, when we do this brewery, when we do these tap rooms, is this how we want people to feel? Or did that just kind of evolve as the business went along?
Yeah, we wanted to have a lot of events.
Yep.
And we do. We have a lot of events. We have family events, and we have, like we said, the sours and the stouts and all that, and our anniversaries are huge. And we wanted to make the space very homely. That's why every place that you walk, there's plants. It's a comfortable place. You can come here with your kids, with your dogs, and you can order food, or you can get food from our pizza truck. And it's just like, we want you to just be at home, like just be comfortable. That's the main goal. Really, is like, you don't even have to come to get drunk. That's not the plan. The plan is for you to have an experience every single time.
We've never seen ourselves as like a bar.
A bar, no, never.
Always a community space.
Yeah.
That just happens to sell beer. And I think that's another reason why we do so much non-alcoholic as well, is because, we love the idea. We have families, we have kids. If we couldn't bring them up here and be a part of something, I'd rather it be a little bit more wholesome, like some place like a brewery space than a bar per se, non-alcoholic's a pretty big topic as well for us.
Yeah, so I see that you all sell just like regular Coke products or sodas and different things like that, and then there's some, I'm sure, non-alcoholic beers and different things that y'all brought in. Have y'all started making your own non-alcoholic beverages as well? If y'all want to talk about
for
that?
Sure. We've done two separate brands of non-alcoholic like mocktails. It kind of first started out as like mocktails with cannabis terpenes, just because it was always very exciting to when cannabis first came to Oklahoma. Not that it wasn't here already, but when it became like medical and legal, there were lots of like byproducts being made from making the medicines, and so we got in touch with a few extractors, and we did some work on extracting like hop terpenes and all kinds of stuff as well to bolster up our IPAs and like make hop waters and stuff. But we eventually kind of landed on mocktails with like plant derived terpenes instead of cannabis, just because I think for the everyday drinker, seeing cannabis terpenes in a drink, you're kind of like, maybe I should wait till nighttime for that or something,
Yeah.
But we've kind of always, alcohol in general has always kind of has a little bit of like a dark side that people don't really talk about. We've seen folks come in here with legitimate problems and then try to fix them, and then maybe 2 months later they're back sitting at the bar. So I think that was kind of my first initial like push to start making non-alcoholic. So I kind of like adopted this like net zero kind of idea, of someday at this place, I'd like to make just as much non-alcoholic beverages as I do alcoholic beverages, just to remain net zero.
I like that. That's like a bright solution to that's something that's definitely like plagued the industry and plagued a lot of people for a long time.
Plus, COVID was rough on a lot of folks.
Oh yeah.
And it was great for places like breweries because people were showing up and buying alcohol all the time, and we thank them honestly for that. We would have never made it through COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people I think came out on the other side and were like, I might have a little bit of a problem, or maybe I should back off a little bit, and but they still want to stay social. They still want to come and visit, and we offer. We have and continue to offer products for those people too.
In January, we actually do a whole dry bar. So it used to be every Monday we were already closed, and so we would just have the entire bar was dry.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really neat, like almost experiment, because people would come in and they'd say, wow, I've never had a whole bar menu just for me.
Oh, awesome.
And they thought that was very touching.
So people who had been sober or were starting their journey being sober.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was very empowering to them. They could still go to a brewery, go out and have fun.
Yeah, have the same feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Like they still want to be celebratory and do the same stuff. Just because they stop drinking doesn't mean they don't want to go out and have fun. I think that's a human experience.
Well, that's me. I'm not a drinker, so when I go out to eat or drink with them, I like to look for a fun mocktail.
Yeah.
I want to have a little fun drink.
Yeah. Not just Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, not just Dr. Pepper. And so, every January we do, really crazy, fun mocktails.
Yeah, all handmade.
We did, dirty Red Bulls and dirty sodas and, all types of crazy stuff. We
Oh,
always
very cool.
have non-alcoholic slushies and non-alcoholic soft serve and everything like that.
We make a killer root beer.
Killer root beer on
Heck
tap.
yes.
Yeah. So we actually also started a little, soda brand. Also, we've come to, the idea that, we love soda. We love the idea of a beverage that's non-alcoholic, but no one is really drinking 12 ounces of. I mean, a lot of my friends are not drinking 12 ounces of a soda, but they love the idea. It tastes good, so they just don't order it because it's just too much.
That's me. I get through half of a pop can, and if it's even remotely room temperature, I'm no, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we started Little Soda, which is basically in the 8-ounce stubby cans.
Oh, nice.
And so we put our root beer, we did a cherry cola, orange soda, and a grape soda. And it's just fun. It's something I would feel comfortable handing off to my kid and being it's fine. You're going to cap out at probably 6 ounces. There's no high fructose corn syrup in it, and have a blast. And it's fun. It's made local and all that good stuff. So we've been kind of selling it. We sell mostly it through the tap room. But man, people love root beer. Also, when you do non-alcoholic stuff and you have a venue like this, it just opens the door for so many more people, because I can't tell you how many little office or corporate events have happened, and half of the people are drinking root beer. Honest to God, because they don't want to drink while they're with other business people or they're with their company.
On a weekday or something. So
they want to go home, and they have to still do stuff when they get home. So it's been empowering to the customers too, and as people who just love beverage, we love creative beverage.
Yeah.
We don't want to just be pigeonholed by the idea of you can only make beer.
Yeah.
That's not how we feel. We don't feel like that. We're married to flavors, not to the concept of traditional beer.
I like that. And I think a lot of customers too are now more knowledgeable about what they put in their bodies and also where it comes from. So I bet it's it is doubly supportive to know it's you guys make it and take conscious thought putting into it, being we're not just going to throw in junk cheap ingredients to fulfill a need. It's we really care about this. That's really, really awesome.
Yeah.
So, where do y'all find some of your inspiration or strategy behind the drinks that you're making or the beer that you're making? And then also the ingredients, y'all try to source locally. What does that process look for you back in the brew house?
Well, we did just get peaches.
Yeah. We there's a town pretty close by the name of Porter, and they're known for their peaches, at least in this area, in between Arkansas and Oklahoma, in northern Texas. But wherever we can, depending on what style of beer it is. Oklahoma's not great for hops. It's not too great for malt quality grain as well. So of course all that stuff has to come from the places that do it.
Yeah,
do it the best.
Wireman or PSG.
Yeah, or the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah,
for all of our
for the
beautiful
hops. Of course.
Yeah. But as far as the amount of thought that goes into the ingredients that go into our places, we only have 3 beers that we use extracts on, and everything else is usually fruit puree or just a traditional style. All of our sodas and our mood brew stuff are all sweetened with agave nectar. So we don't we don't cheap out even in the sodas. You know, it'd be really easy to buy a big tote of high fructose corn syrup.
Oh yeah.
And it would go a hell of a long way, a lot longer than agave nectar would. But
Yeah.
it's about the lower.
It's not about the money, you know.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about
What's tasty.
what's tasty, what's good for your consumers, and you know, just always looking for the best possible options. Even trying to get away from food coloring sometimes as much as we can, but sometimes that's impossible.
Yeah.
We do. I mean, we find inspiration everywhere too. I mean,
Yeah.
we're big like grocery store people, which as weird as that sounds, like we love just like going through the aisles and being like, you know, people. There's that meme that's like, what are the little freaks at Oreo doing these days?
Oh,
my
yeah.
And like,
goodness.
there's like a half the shelf for the
the
cookie
weird
aisle.
Oreos.
I'm like,
yeah.
that's us. I
We're
want to
the
be
Oreos.
I want to
of
be the Oreos
yeah.
in the beer world. Like,
Yeah.
we do that kind of shit all the time.
We love Pinterest. We love looking at other places. Sometimes other places will inspire us.
Yeah.
A big place that inspires us is Two Tides.
Yeah.
We love them
Savannah.
and so many.
What does Two Tides do? Sorry, I'm not familiar.
Oh, Two Tides is just a brewery in Savannah that is
Okay.
just gosh, their photography and their drinks are just awesome. They're off the wall. They're kind of like us, and I don't know. They're just very inspiring for us.
Yeah. We love it. You been?
Have y'all been?
Oh, we did one time. We went to one of their slushy festivals, and just phenomenal. And we just love the idea of like. Also, they do a lot of collaborating, and
Yeah.
when they do slushy festivals, they'll like bring in other big breweries to like collaborate on the flavors. And they're also very community oriented, where like they have big block parties all the time, and like I love that. Like they're doing really cool, neat stuff. And I don't know. We're inspired by. We just took a trip to Japan. Travis made probably 4 or 5 years. He actually got to brew
Oh, nice.
while in Japan. That was
Yeah.
Congrats on that.
so
That's awesome.
freaking incredible.
Interesting time for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It was so cool. So,
Kind of just from everywhere. Yeah, we started putting
Just osmosis, you know. Just
Travis?
always paying attention.
Travis put some fruit boba in some beer.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
nice.
We have a boba
And
beer right now.
When
I
you
don't
serve
know.
it, does the boba come out the tap, or do you put the little
Well,
tapioca balls in?
Fun
No,
fact, it's not even released right now.
Oh, okay,
So,
gotcha.
all in little stubby cans.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, so that you get the the whole sensory experience of popping the can and seeing the boba kind of come out into the glass and stuff.
Very cool.
We're
That's
definitely
exciting.
a brew with like without boundaries. Like there's nothing we don't think we can do. But we started a whole new line of beer called Pure Imagination, which is like if we think it can go in a
Think
package.
it, you can drink it.
We
Yeah.
have it tattooed on us.
Yeah,
like we're
we
down.
got
We're down for the imagination. We like
Yeah.
we just want to be as creative as possible. We try to push our limits constantly.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
we do the pictures and we do the
Social media.
the flavors and the social medias and the shirts
Which is
and all that.
fantastic,
It's
by
like,
the way. When I was searching
Thank you.
breweries and we look at places to interview, we always look at the website and the Instagram to see if it's like organized, if it's shot well, because that usually gives us a good indication of what the beer might taste like. And yours
Okay.
is phenomenal. When you guys
Thank
did the,
you.
like, I might not drink a popsicle beer, but watching the process of making that bottle
100%.
rocket pop popsicle beer,
Yeah.
I was like, that's awesome. And then the
Yeah.
photo, so well done on that.
It's a tradition for sure.
So you do have a lot of events going on. So you said about the summer solstice and then the stout solstice. Are there other things you like to do? I know y'all host a lot of parties. Y'all have an event space that y'all rent out. Talk a little bit about. You told us a little bit about this earlier, but like, how did you design the tap room? We know it's community feel, but what was your inspiration for the design of the tap room?
Well, since our mom is a builder, we've actually designed some of her houses that have been in the Parade of Homes and stuff. So we're really into design, fashion, everything that's kind of, in style. So it was, I don't want to say it was easy for us, but like we kind of knew the vibe we wanted. We wanted this bigger room to be just really different, but swanky. We get a lot of people saying it kind of gives off the
Art Deco.
Art Deco, but also like a, what's that word?
Describe it.
No.
I don't know.
Like a 1920 speakeasy.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
They think it looks like a speakeasy. But then we wanted, so kind of for our brewery, we wanted to have like 4 different places. The patio is a vibe, the downstairs is a vibe, the upstairs is one, and then the dream lounge is crazy and funky and colorful. And everywhere you go, every room that you go into, you're gonna have a
'Cause
different.
it's its own
Do you
thing.
want to like relax, or do you want to go into here to like this
How are you
party
feeling
room?
today?
Or
Yeah.
You want to feel swanky and sit up
Yeah.
here? Cool. You want
Yeah.
to hang out and just the front tap
want to
room
sit by
and
the
chill?
plants,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
so
They definitely carry their own personalities, which
Yeah.
is awesome.
yeah.
I think we wanted to keep it also timeless. I didn't want to do
Yeah.
a lot of like super trend focused things. I mean, the Dream Lounge, you can call that trendy, that's fine. But like we love the idea of green around here because it is both a neutral and also a color. It's very natural, found in nature, but it's also
comforting.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's comforting.
Mhm.
And so also like white granite's never going to go out of style. Wood finishes are never going to go out of style. Gold's never going to go out of style. And so like keeping those things, and also all downstairs is original brick from the 20s, and so like it's also like it has its own feeling, and people describe it really differently. They'll be like, "Oh, this is so high end," or they'll say it's so homey.
Yeah.
So like it's interesting, like it's on both spectrums, but people like it. So thank God, like if you we just I think a lot of breweries they want to be easily accepted, so they just like kind of cookie cutter what everybody else is doing, and so it's like the metal chairs and the barrel trash cans, or like
Yeah.
and not knocking that, but
I'm guilty of that. That's how I kind of envisioned our tap room
Yeah.
looking when I first
Yeah.
opened. Like, like the garage. Yeah.
That's why you
Yeah.
needed us.
Yeah.
You needed us to bring it back down.
And like going to like Goodwill and getting a few couches was like not in the plan. So
Uh-huh.
making it at the time was probably the most high end. Downstairs was probably like the most high end looking, and a bunch of people probably thought, I can't come in my shorts and flip flops and come drink in this place.
Mhm.
And even when we opened this upstairs, they still said that I can't come up here and drink. They do every day,
Yeah.
and it's not a big deal. And I think we hopefully have reframed what a brewery looks like to most people. It doesn't have to look like metal chairs and bar stools and
Tall ceilings.
tall, like a warehouse.
Well,
Yeah.
we have people book it for wedding showers, wedding rehearsals, weddings,
We've had several weddings.
and they're like, I don't have to decorate.
Yeah.
It's already kind of like done, and that was another kind of thing that we wanted to do. Is we knew this was going to be used for rentals a lot,
Gotcha.
and so we wanted to make sure that it was neutral but also
Interesting.
beautiful,
Yeah.
and interesting.
Yeah.
And
it would be photographed a lot.
yes,
Yeah, we wanted it to be
yes. and
representative.
it is booked out all the time.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
very fortunate.
Very lucky.
Yeah, well, it's cool to see that intention for your business. Is like we want it to have personality and stand out. We don't want to just be another brewery that like it fits the brewery theme, which is
Yeah.
that sometimes that can be really scary. I know there's a brewery in Portland that opened up called Brewhouse, and he's all about like black metal, so it's like a black cathedral on the inside.
God.
And a lot of people were like, "That's wild," and talk was it's going to do well, but like, will people enjoy sitting in there? And I was like, it doesn't matter because the guy Sam, who's an awesome human being, he wants it to be that. It's his idea, it's
Yeah.
his vision, and so it's like whoever comes there will come there because they want to be there,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think you guys hit the nail on the head with this place very well.
Thank you.
For
Yeah,
sure,
we
thank
we
you.
owe that to Tulsa. Like they come for it. So
I was surprised because we were talking before the podcast. We've seen a lot of really cool places in the Pacific Northwest, and me coming from living in the South, we never had anything cool growing up. There was nothing cool like this. Anyways, so coming into the tap room today and seeing it online and stuff like that, like it's just so cool that there's a place like this in Oklahoma. So it's really, really exciting.
Honestly, yeah, all the tap rooms here are very different.
oh, so
You go to Marshall's, it's beautiful inside. You go to Heirloom, they have such a cool vibe with plants. And then you go to Welltown, and they have a huge open area that's also very welcoming. And I mean, just so many places they're all so different. You go to Erie Abbey and Dead Armadillo, Renaissance, like they're just, everyone is so different.
Yeah.
And that's what I like, is that I don't think any of us really give that like harsh brewery vibe.
Yeah.
Everyone has that relaxing, chill, but like everyone, it's all different, and you go to each different one and you're going to have a completely different vibe. It's awesome. I
Very
like it a
apples and
lot.
oranges
Yeah.
in the Tulsa beer community.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that gives diversity, which is great. So,
Oh yeah.
Since y'all all work together, y'all are a family, y'all are very close to each other. For y'all, how do y'all have work-life balance? And then also for your team with burnout and mental health these days, do y'all have a strategy for helping each other balance that? Or when y'all are working together, what does that look like for y'all as a brewery team?
Gosh.
Honestly,
question.
I know this is kind of weird, and I just feel like we've kind of created an environment where it's almost hard to get burnout. And if we do notice anyone feeling that way, obviously take the day off, do what you need to do, go lay down, you know, whatever you feel like you need to do, you do that. And if you need our help, we got you. We get lunch for everyone every day. We'll go out to eat sometimes. We really try really hard once a year to take everyone on a trip. So we'll like take the whole day. We'll close the tap room, and we'll go on a trip to other breweries to support other places. Lots of times in like Arkansas and things like that. But I know it's just it's such a crazy thought, but like sometimes it's hard to get burnout because this place has been we're very open here.
Yeah,
kind
we
of
give a lot of freedom.
Yeah, we kind of
Nice.
allow our employees a lot of freedom
And transparency, it
especially
sounds
the
like.
brewers. Yeah, and so they kind of know that if something's wrong, that we'll get it handled. You know what I mean? Like we get burnout too sometimes. I mean, sometimes after events that we plan for months and months and months, we want to just lay down and take a nap.
Yeah.
And that's okay. We all work very hard here, and so I think that it is just kind of a known fact that if you're not feeling right, then you do what you need to do to feel right, and we'll help in whatever way we can.
That's awesome.
For sure.
I think-
Always. We're a family.
Well, and amongst each other, we try very hard to like not keep score. Like, well, I just worked last night, so you need to
Oh,
work
yeah,
tonight.
no.
It's like, bro, if you need the day off, no problem, I got you. And I think we try to kind of create a lifestyle for our employees too. That's like watching your fellow employee and like, how can I help you, or like meeting their needs before their needs, or like understanding. Like you're in it for each other and making sure that they're good because they will reciprocate and do the same for you, and like just kind of having a watchful eye. And it's kind of funny because we think we work a lot, and then people come to the tap room after we open at like 3 and they're like, Lacy and Travis and Abby are never
They're
here.
never here.
I'm like,
We're
well,
like, no, listen, we are here.
That's because we're with our babies.
Yeah.
We're home with our children, and you know we have kids, and we never want our children to say, well, they chose that brewery over us every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we make it a huge conscious effort, like to be home with our kids. Now, someday the kids will come up here with us. They're all really little. We have a 3, a 4, and a 7-year-old, and like that's not in the cards for a 3-year-old right now. So right now it's like we choose to be home with them. Like even like last night, Travis and I had a whole evening planned, but like big groups came up. So I rushed up here, helped kill the crowd, and I went back home. And like I'm not gonna forego an entire evening with my kids just to like have a watchful eye. We really trust our employees to help us give us that work-life balance. Like I know you can handle it up here. I'm gonna be home to like refill my own tank so that I
That's
can come back
awesome.
in tomorrow and do what I gotta do. Like we also hire people who are very competent. Like they say, hire talented people and set them free. Like
Yeah, we have an amazing team.
our team is so incredible,
It's amazing.
and it lets us like we know that if we're sick or Travis and I really need a day off, Cody and Kyle have it 100% handled in the brew house. We don't have to wonder if stuff's going to get done or if things are just going to be left. Like we know that they're also taking care of us, and we can have that kind of like trust. I think a lot of it's about trust.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's super healthy to hear that. I think that's something for a lot of my leadership management roles that I've had, especially in bigger breweries. It can be really hard to have that like delegation because there is like an obsessiveness and hands-on, especially with your own business, to want to be there.
Guilty.
But
Oh,
it's
every
like
day.
it's beneficial for you and beneficial for your employees because it makes them feel like, oh, okay, like I am trustworthy and like I have responsibility. I'm
Yeah.
not just like a punch in, punch out worker.
Yeah.
And that's like something I've always, and because my wife's heard it all the time, we live in 60 square feet. I'd come back sometimes and be like, man, like I don't know how many different ways to say it, to being like, you know, management and the employees underneath them are struggling, and I'm trying to give them solutions of being like, if there's a problem, like count on these people to do it. Don't come home from like get off a 12-hour workday and then come back and work another 6 hours because then it's not beneficial for you. It's not beneficial for them, and then the next day is even worse because you're tired and all these things.
It's a
And
snowball.
yeah, it's really hard to break that cycle. So I think that's awesome that you guys are actively doing that.
It took us years. It's not like a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
It took us a long time to even be able to step away and be like, we can go to Japan for 10 days. And like this place will still run. Like that was not a first, second, or even third year circumstance. And
Takes
so
time.
it takes time. It takes a lot of trust. It takes, I mean, the like mental health culture does not say like grinding is good, but like it takes, you got to grind for a long time to finally get to the point where you're like, okay, we have the money or the cash flow to hire really incredible people and then set them free and let them do what they do best. Like I said, our people did not come from brewing backgrounds. None of us came from brewing. Are you kidding me? Honestly, we'd like to not hire people in the industry. because they come with their own set of like standards and like generally they're, I don't want to say not friendly, but like they have a different expectations of how to handle stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas I hire for internal motivation, I hire for customer service. I'll teach you about beer. Bro, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I'll teach you everything you need to know about styles, pouring, we'll get your Cicerone, all that good stuff. But it's so important to just hire the right personality because like one grain of sand in the track, like, man, it will hurt your work culture tremendously.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, definitely. Just to touch on that subject about like sometimes hiring other brewers or past brewery employees have their own like set of rules and modes and dogma. It can be really hard to get that to change to fit your business.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes for them, they don't even want to, and then that creates conflict, and you're just like, okay, well now I feel like I'm stuck with this employee. So
Yeah, like knowing better.
Yeah.
And like sometimes they do. Like I know people hire people from other breweries all the time because they're professional, incredible packaging leads and all that good stuff. But like, Cody came on and, we're like, hey, we need you to work on like the packaging line and like canning and all that good stuff. And never once did I think, oh, can he handle them? Like, the bro did cranes. Like, he can do anything.
Yeah.
So this is not going to be like a huge challenge. I want to hire learners. I want to hire people who are adaptable and they take coaching well. And like, we're all in it together. We actually don't have much of a like management structure.
Mm-hmm.
We're owners and everybody else is a key carrying, 100% cash managing. Like, everybody does everything here. We'll never ask you to do something we wouldn't do. We're all going to clean the toilets. You know what I mean? Like, we're all going to sweep. We're all going to take out the garbage. And that goes from the top to the bottom. And
I think that's a huge thing that some business owners don't do is they own the business, but that's it.
yeah.
They don't even see how it's actually running inside. And so that's why I have at least one shift per weekend on top of being here through the week. And Lacy's here almost 7 days a week, literally. If you don't see how your business is running from the inside, and, I want to know what my customers are thinking. I want to know how things are running, so I think our employees probably appreciate that too, that we also take actual behind the bar shifts.
Yeah.
I just think it's necessary. I don't think
I'll be doing dishes a lot.
We'll
okay?
never stop doing that. We're the janitors, we're the dishwashers.
Yeah.
You just have to be if you want a successful business.
Yeah. And you hire people who are also like multi-talented.
Yeah.
Like, Kyle can brew a whole amazing IPA and then he's like, I'm going to go fix the doorstop on the men's bathroom. Like,
They're super helpful as well.
Yeah, right. They jump in.
Yeah, love that. Love that culture that y'all have curated here, and I'm sure it shows to your customers as well. So, next question: if y'all were to give a piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be? We ask this to everybody, and sometimes they don't. But we've also been asking it. We've been in the van since 2020, and all through our travels, we have a whole list in our notes app of like people that we've asked this question to. So,
Yeah.
Just a cool question.
I don't know that I have anything really like philosophical to say, other than like I would just probably tell myself not to be so hung up on what people online have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could read one or two negative things online, and then just graze past a sea of great ones.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what I would tell myself is just keep your head down and quit
I like
worrying
that.
about what people get. Don't give such
Which
a
is
shit,
very rare. We don't get
Yeah,
don't
it is.
get
but
bad
when-
comments.
When it does come through, you're like, oh, and just ruminate.
I think that's what makes it even worse is that we don't get them, and we typically like totally not to brag, kind of bragging a little bit. We do like always get 5 stars, like genuinely.
Knock on wood.
And so getting like a 4-star or anyone saying that they may not have liked something,
We'll
like,
be crushed.
it hurts
We're
us.
crushed.
Oh.
It crushes our soul, and but for the most part, we get so many nice compliments. But
I think that's what Trav said too. Like, I would probably say, don't let the haters be too loud.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the beginning, and I'm not trying to dog anybody, but like, we were not super welcomed by their breweries. We were very like redheaded stepchild because we came on the scene with like a strawberry wheat beer, and people were just like, "It's not what we do. We don't do that around here."
you're supposed to brew lagers.
You
You're
brew
supposed to brew
lagers.
IPAs.
Yes, that
We
old
have, like-
gatekeeping dogma
yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah,
has
yeah.
They have a
crushed probably
fruited
tons of
sour,
breweries.
and it's like, oh
When
my
I
god.
when I came up, that was the way that the industry was. It's a lot different now, a lot the same in a lot of ways too. But when I first came up, it was like, everybody else was doing the same stuff, and like here I am. I show up with 6 different beers that are wild, and like lines don't lie.
Yeah.
When people are like, so that's like, what is that quote I always say from the guy from Death Cab for Cutie? He was
Ooh,
on.
I love Ben Gibber.
Yeah.
He said one time, like, he was playing, the band was playing in like a sold out theater, like 1,000 people. And for some reason, there was like one dude in the front row just mean mugging him the entire time. And he just could not stop focusing on this one dude who was pissed off, did not want to be there. And he was like, I just could not see 999 people loving what I do because I was so focused on one, mean mugging dude in the front row. And once I heard that, I was like, holy crap.
Yep.
Wow.
Well,
And I shirked everything. I jumped off of Untapped and all the beer groups and stuff. I was like, from now on, this is like,
Oh yeah,
I'm
Untapped
just
will be
gonna
the death
do
of a brewer.
whatever
For
I
sure.
Yeah,
from now
Untapped,
on.
Beer Advocate, all those places, you'd like to think the internet has good points to it, which it does, but
It
then
does,
it's just a breeding ground for people to sling hate and then have no
100%.
consequence about it.
It's crazy. They're
Untrained
like, love
people.
this beer. Here's 2 caps. We're like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
That doesn't
My
even
favorite
make
beer I've
sense.
ever had. I would never drink anything else but this. 2.2 caps.
Yeah, like I hate all IPAs. 1 cap. Like,
Yeah.
why, bro?
Yeah, why'd
Help me.
you get it then?
Yeah.
No, but I think it's been an old ideology. I started in 2015, and I think I was pretty lucky that the people in the Tacoma beer scene that I would go and drink at craft beer bars, because I had some people that were very much so like, oh, so and so does like, this was back when like hazy IPA was like very like, no, that's not beer. Like we don't like those people. These people at these craft beer bars were always like, dude, they're just trying to live their dream just like you have a dream.
1,000%.
Right.
Why does it make you so angry? And I was like, oh yeah, I am literally just latching on to somebody else's idea that
Yep.
I don't typically believe in, and it's not inclusive. And that's literally how like bars and breweries got started, was in communities. They were on corners and neighborhoods. They were gathering places. They also, that money that was put into that was put back into the community. And it's like, oh, have we gone that far away? So I'm glad that over the years it's changed. And I'm glad that you guys are kind of like championing that here around in Tulsa. That's
Imagine
really
the
good.
slushy machines rolling in and people just being like, oh my God, how dare you?
Oh,
Yeah,
we
but
did
when
a
it's
Pop-Tart beer and everyone about lost their mind.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
had like slander ads against us. Like people were just like, that's not real beer.
Legitimately on the radio.
Oh,
yeah,
like,
by other breweries. But
I take a lot of solace in the fact that like sometimes other brewers from like Arkansas or Missouri or whatever will be like, hey man, I had a great idea for a beer, but I can't brew it because of my community or my brewery's like
ownership or something.
standards or whatever, and they'll be like, but you can.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, hell yeah, I can, because I
Yeah.
can walk in that door and I can make whatever I want, and I
Yeah.
know people are going to show up and they're going to try
That's-
it.
we feel so fortunate. Like every single day, like we have a wild hair and it gets to be brewed. Like that is such a gift, and we don't take that for granted ever, ever, ever. Because our ownership stays in our family. We're co-owners with my parents. And it's like they say if you can dream it, you can do it, and we get to do that, and that's so empowering. Like people come, when people say like, oh, I can't do that at my brewery. Can I do that at your brewery? We're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of my main enticement whenever it comes to collaborations is like, I know you make a lot of hazy, and I know you make a lot, maybe some like Demir sours, but like, do you want to put like marshmallows or like,
Yeah.
we had another brewery is like, well, let's make a hazy IPA, but let's like do like a an obscene amount of Fruit Loops, like
Oh yeah.
4 stacks of Fruit Loop boxes
Yeah.
taller than me. And I'm like, yeah, let's mash in with that. It's,
That's awesome.
25% of the grist.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Well, we're coming towards the end of the podcast. We just want to hear kind of what's coming up with Nothing's Left for the rest of the summer and to the rest of the year. Do y'all have anything exciting planned, collabs?
Our anniversary
events?
is September 21st.
Yes.
So if you're listening,
Yeah, this will come
see
out
us.
before then, so mark your calendars.
It'll be awesome. It'll be crazy. 6 years. And then, just basically the Stout Solstice on December 21st.
We have the kids' creepy brewery crawl,
Yeah.
which I'm very passionate about. So in Tulsa, we get to like do a brewery crawl for all the kids, and all the breweries open up for kids to do like trick or treating, and the parents get to have a beer, and obviously like no purchase necessary, just go in and have a good time. But like they'll have like activities and live music and all that. We have a
awesome.
magician, we have a bounce house. Like we like to go big. We do a group costume that's always fun. We haven't figured it out
awesome.
yet, so send us ideas.
Is that in October for Halloween? Okay.
Yeah.
The Wednesday before. Always
Gotcha.
Wednesday before. So That's
We'll have
always
to
a good
scroll
time.
through your Instagram to see old group costume photos.
Come on,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
We've done Willy Wonka. We've
Yeah.
done
The Incredibles.
Incredibles.
Nice. You guys could do the
Mario.
Minions this year. Just have all.
I was thinking, what about like the Inside Out characters?
Oh yeah. Oh, that would be actually
Right?
great.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
We actually just watched those the other day. They were great.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, great idea. So, anyways, there's that. We have a Great Lakes Small Business Saturday after Thanksgiving. We have fun at. Oh, we have Paws and Claws,
Paws and Claws.
which is where we bring in a Santa for you to bring your dog to.
You guys can bring
Oh,
your cats.
awesome.
Oh yeah,
Bring
bring your
your
cats.
cats.
We always
Yeah.
have cats come. It's a blast, and we go hard with like the scene. Last year we did a big gingerbread scene, and like it's super fun. So
But things
Very
are always
cool.
changing, so you don't have to wait for an event to
yeah,
see us.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Slushies change every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Beer soft serve, beer slushies.
Awesome.
New beers probably 2 or 3 times a week. Oh my gosh, all the time.
I love it.
Yeah.
All
I
the
love
time.
We keep
the,
Trev
the
busy.
creativity and life flying out of this place is honestly so inspiring. That's why we took time off. Is we were kind of getting burnt out, and we were like, we need to regain our fire and passion. So we're just talking to people, and now we're like, yes,
That's amazing.
let's go.
That's so
So-
cool.
Get back in
But we appreciate you guys sitting down and giving us time. We're going to stop, and we're going to take some photos of this beautiful space to share with everybody online. But thank you so much, y'all.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you
This
guys.
is fun.
Appreciate you.